There's been a lot going on in regards to the Epstein files and been a bunch of emails that have come out. It's been kind of a smorgasbord of new information, surprisingly. And there's even apparently going to be a full release of the Epstein files. It's been voted on, it's passed, but I'll believe it when I see it. I've talked about this on stream. I am fully expecting this to be the same shit, different toilet, repackaging the same material that's been released from the Epstein files 5 times now. I swear to God, these Epstein files have been remastered more times than Last of Us. They keep re-releasing the same information over and over again with a different coat of paint. They're not actually releasing new Epstein files, but they keep pretending that they are, or that what they drop is new Epstein file information. But when you actually look at it, it's the same thing that was released years ago. That's what I'm expecting here, but I would love to be proven wrong. I would love if this is finally some real, unredacted, new information that implicates some horrible, evil people, and real punishment comes their way. Actual justice for the victims. We'll see. I have my skepticism about that. But another thing that's happened in regards to everything Epstein related is those emails that the committee has released. And there's a lot of mysteries there, of course, the biggest being who is Bubba and what cock was in Trump's mouth potentially. And along with that, there are a lot of other people that have now been thrust into the spotlight here for their close association with Epstein, one of them being a goober named Larry Summers. Now, maybe I'm just a Neanderthal who's living under a rock, but I'd never heard of Lawrence Summers until this. But just look at the political power he's had for so many decades now. He was the 8th director of the National Economic Council under Barack Obama's presidency. He was the president of Harvard from 01 to 06. He was also the United States Secretary of Treasury under Clinton. This is a very powerful guy. And when these emails came out, people were quick to notice Lawrence Summers was very chummy with Jeffrey Epstein, even going as far as to have Epstein as his fucking wingman. He was trying to suck farts out of Jeffrey Epstein's ass looking for tiddlywinks of advice on how he could fuck one of his students, a mentee, as he referred to her as. It is so creepy. It is vile, disgusting shit. Larry Summers has been married since 2005. These texts and emails were from 2018 to 2019, him trying to get Jeffrey Epstein's input on how he can have sex with this student of his, and it's just this series of whiny messages from him, this pathetic loser-ass shit that you'd probably find in like the foulest corners of Reddit. And Larry, no carry about his marriage, Summers, is begging on his hands and knees for Jeffrey Epstein to bless him with the guidance so he could have sex with this mentee of his. It is so fucking gross. And these are just what is now publicly available in their messages exchanged. Like, it is probably a lot deeper than this connection between Larry Summers and Jeffrey Epstein. This is just what they have, like, physical evidence of with these messages. I have no doubt Larry Summers being this close, where Jeffrey Epstein will refer to himself as Larry's wingman, I have no doubt these two have probably been in cahoots for a long fucking time. It is scary. Now, I also saw a clip here that someone recorded in their class at Harvard where Larry teaches, and he actually addressed what students were seeing from all of the Epstein information. This was after he made his statement of regret about his connection, calling it like a major error in judgment to communicate with Jeffrey Epstein, the most infamous pedophile in our fucking history. And he had a little bit to say about all of this, hoopla going on.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activities for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. And so, with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class.
No, Larry, you don't have my permission to continue teaching. How about instead of going over the material, you go over to the nearest prison and throw yourself in one of the fucking cells? Because it feels like the justice system's never gonna do that for anyone that's closely associated with Jeffrey Epstein and all of his fucking crimes. So why don't you take it upon yourself to do that for us? Now, this video's like a day and a half old. There was an update to this story last night. He is not going to be finishing his teaching obligations at Harvard. They're investigating his ties to child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, and they have made the correct decision to remove him from his position teaching here, which to me sounds like a no-brainer. One of the things in the emails that was revealed is Larry Summers trying to fuck his mentee, one of his students that he was mentoring. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to keep him in that position. That's like keeping the big bad wolf in a classroom with a bunch of little piggies there. So that was the right call, taking him off of that position during this investigation. And I feel like it's probably a pretty easy investigation when there's already a ton of evidence to his close ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The question that remains is, how close are those ties? Did he visit the island? It seems like he was very buddy-buddy with Jeffrey Epstein. I cannot imagine that these 2018 and 2019 exchanges are like the only things that they ever talked about. If I was a betting man, I would make a strong wager that this communication is not the first time they've been closely talking. I don't think Jeffrey Epstein would jokingly call himself Summers' wingman based off of only a few text messages over the course of that year. I would wager that they have been very close for a long time, and I imagine Larry Summers is implicated very deeply in a lot of the Epstein files that we just haven't seen all of yet. And it seems like that hunch is corroborated by a lot of outlets reporting that his correspondence with Epstein had extended for over a decade after Epstein had already been sent to jail for soliciting a minor for prostitution. So it's not like Larry Summers wouldn't know this about Jeffrey Epstein. He was talking to him all the way up until like the day before he got arrested in 2019. There's no way Larry didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was and what was going on there. I just don't believe that. He can call it like an error in judgment all he wants, but he literally had already been arrested for soliciting a minor for prostitution, and that is the guy that Larry Summers was going to frequently for advice on trying to fuck one of his students. I feel like there is no world where Larry Summers wasn't closely tied to Jeffrey Epstein for a long time and wasn't privy to what was going on behind the scenes with Epstein's operation and all of that shit going on there. Now, going back to that video briefly, I find it baffling that Harvard didn't immediately relieve him of his position after the information came out, like while they were about to conduct an investigation. I don't know why he was allowed to go into the classroom and give his statement, like his POV on everything here, and it seems like was even going to continue teaching in some capacity to this classroom. He went in there with, his PR speech like, hey guys, listen, look, you may have read some not so good yucky things about me and Mr. Epstein. I know, not a great look, but we have to remember your minds are hungry and I'm the chef. It's my duty to teach you, so we're here. Get your pen and paper out. Let's go, Poindexters. I have a teaching obligation to fulfill and I plan on doing that. Also, unrelated to everything, I have slots available for mentorship if anyone wants to be mentored by me, to see me after class. Anyway, though, it's time to get back to the teaching. Like, it's so weird to me. Like, I understand they need to investigate the claims, but while doing so, he shouldn't have been allowed back in the classroom in the first place to teach or say that he is going to be able to continue teaching. Like, addressing the elephant in the room is somehow enough, and now all of a sudden he's allowed to be able to still give lectures. Who the fuck is going to want to sit there and listen to this guy who is apparently close friends with Jeffrey Epstein? Like, I'm surprised everyone didn't immediately just get out of their seats and walk out of the class. Maybe they did. It's a very short video. It's entirely possible they did. I just find it odd, is all. Anyway, just wanted to yap a bit about Larry Summers for a bit, and that's really about it. See ya.